Okay. The story is starting to develop in regards towards Jeremy Loffredo, who remains in Israeli jail. So I want to pull up this link here from the Grayzone. Now we talked about this on yesterday's show, and again, we have a U.S. journalist currently being detained. I, for one, am standing in solidarity with the Grayzone, and I encourage all of you, my viewing audience, to please join the call for his immediate freedom and release. He has done, as far as I'm concerned, done his job as a journalist. He's not some enemy to the state. He's a reporter. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. No journalist should be detained. Now, I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't like the Grayzone. Well, guess what? Too bad. Because you know what? The liberal sphere needs to get over itself. Jeremy Loffredo must be released. So I am standing in solidarity with Max Blumenthal, Aaron Mate, and everyone else in the Grayzone. And I ask you, my viewing audience, to also stand in solidarity and call for Jeremy Loffredo's immediate release. Hashtag free Jeremy. So what's going on here? Jeremy Loffredo remains in jail. Officially, police are holding him on suspicious of serious security offenses for publicly publishing the locations of missile drops near or inside sensitive security facilities, with the aim of bringing this to the notice of the enemy and thereby assisting them in future attacks, which is absolute complete BS. The charges stem from Jeremy's report for Grayzone's reporting showing the aftermath of Iranian attacks on military and intelligence targets inside Israel, the same exact locations which were openly featured in reports broadcast on ABC News and PBS, neither of which currently face such charges. Originally, the judge overseeing Jeremy's case ordered him release, saying that since Israeli military censors agreed to allow Israeli military to publish both word of Jeremy's arrest and publications that led to his arrest, Israel can no longer justify his continued detention. However, police appealed this decision. For now, Jeremy remains in custody, and his appeal hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. The Grayzone unequivocally rejects these outrageous accusations from the Israeli police. We stand by Jeremy's legitimate reporting, as does Hard Lens Media, as should all of you. Please, everybody, when I clip this video, please share it on all social media. He must be freed immediately. Now, anything can happen between now and when we upload this video. So obviously, we will be giving an update if anything does happen, okay? So we got to keep on pushing forward to call for his immediate freedom. The claim that Loffredo and the Grayzone represent Israel's enemy in wartime merely suggests that the Israeli government views the American people and free press as a legitimate target. We represent no one else. We will fight these charges and ask that you contact the State Department and urge them to act in defense of their citizen detained in Israel. The U.S. has an obligation to defend its journalists who are merely adhering to their ethical obligation to inform the public of pertinent facts. Again, the man should not be in jail. So, I want to pull this up here. The U.S. government funded PBS News reporting on Iranian missile hit at the exact location Jeremy did at Mossad HQ, where he did, and no repercussions. Make no mistake, Israel's jailing of Jeremy is a political persecution of a U.S. journalist. So here it is. Jeremy is an American journalist beaten and kidnapped by IDF forces on October 9th, 2024. The U.S. State Department is yet to address Jeremy's detention. So here's what you guys need to do. Grab a pen and paper and please politely, don't swear, don't use any vulgar language. We got to get this man free. So please politely call this number and immediately call for his freedom. 01. This is the call the U.S. Embassy in Israel to address your concerns. 0111-972-2-630-400. You can also email the U.S. Embassy in Israel at jerusalempacs@state.gov. So, we will be posting this link so that way people can find out how and which way they can help. Folks, this is one of our citizens being detained for doing his job. I'm going to say that again. We have a U.S. citizen being detained for doing their job. A United States citizen, a U.S. journalist reporting facts on the ground. Now, ABC and PBS covered that exact same story. I don't see their people getting arrested. It's almost as if an award-winning journalist news site with its outstanding reporters is being deliberately targeted and bullied. Where's the justice? According to Israel's Ynet News, Israel is charging U.S. journalist Jeremy Loffredo, this is from Aaron Mate, another contributor and founder of the Grayzone, with aiding the enemy during wartime and providing information to the enemy for reporting on Israeli military targets hit by Iran earlier this month. Israel is detaining and prosecuting American journalists for doing journalism. Will his media colleagues defend him? Well, obviously, corporate media is not going to do it, but we here at Hard Lens Media encourage everyone in independent media to call for his immediate freedom and release. He must be freed. I do not tolerate the silence and suspension of a journalist who's trying to report the facts on the ground. Going forward, this is another update as well from Max Blumenthal. I want to thank my audience for also getting me updated on this as well, this story. I have learned that the district court in Israel has ordered U.S. journalist Jeremy Loffredo to be released from custody, but has forbidden him from leaving the country for a period of time. We'll update as soon as we know more about these terms. So, folks, we're not out of the woods yet, and I would suggest please following the Grayzone and Max Blumenthal for all updates in regards towards what they're doing, as well as updates to the story. I believe that the Grayzone was deliberately targeted for this. They have done their jobs, the people at the Grayzone, and right now, without their reporting, we are all officially blind. So please support and follow the Grayzone. Follow Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate. I know most of you, my audience, do, but in case you're new to this show, or either that, hey, you're just finally breaking away from corporate media and the two-party propaganda, welcome. We got to support the Grayzone. Their colleague is in the fight for his life. But guess what? Turns out, folks, even when talking about this, looks like I can't post this on Facebook because here's what Matt Orfala, good friend of the show, wrote. Wow, I also just tried posting my article on Israel's arrest of American journalist, again, Jeremy Loffredo, on Facebook, and it was immediately removed from both my profile and page. This is the article. Please test yourself. Let me know what happens. Facebook. Remember the Zuckerberg saying, "Oh, gee, jolly gee willigers. I wish I never partook in that censorship stuff." Well, it turns out, Facebook, we removed your post. Facebook? What? Why? Why, Facebook? Look at this. Facebook has twice removed your Substack article when I posted it to my page. Facebook, Zuckerberg, what you doing? What you doing, Zucky Zuck? It's almost as if, goodness gracious, Cretaceous, there's a censorship wave happening. And I've told y'all that the censorship is going to get worse. I told y'all that this is going to be a thing. And you know what? I hate that I've been proven correct again. But this is the world that we have. This is the world that we're living in which we have a system that's being purposely designed to keep all of you in the dark. Why are we in these foreign wars? Why are banks being bailed out? Why is Wall Street being bailed out? Why are our politicians doing insider trading? Why is all this madness and insanity happening all around? It's because the neoliberal system has a plan. You're not in it. They want forever wars. They want you guys to be in debt. They want you guys to forever own nothing. They want you to shut up. You know, I know that Julian Assange is currently free, and I'm glad that he's freed. But ever since his detention, we have seen a purpose war, an all-out purposeful war against independent media, free thinkers, and groundbreaking journalists speaking truth to power. I want to pull up this article here. This is from Matt Orfala. Since Facebook won't allow it, you guys to see it, I'll at least post this article here. Today, Israeli news site Ynet News, I think that's how you say it, reported that Israel has charged American investigative journalist Jeremy Loffredo with aiding the enemy after defying Israel's ban on reporting missile strike locations. PBS Nick Scriffin also defied the ban and reported the same information about the same missile strike from the same site as Loffredo, who reports for the Grayzone. They both reported the strike to be approximately 1,000 feet from the Mossad HQ in Tel Aviv. And there it is, same location, PBS News and the Grayzone. Unless there's more to the story, the argument that Loffredo was aiding the enemy is empty. Loffredo included a map with the coordinates of the missile strike, but that isn't information Iran would already have. Moreover, anybody could easily find the exact coordinates with Google Maps. Goodness gracious, Cretaceous. Is Google going to be censored now? Well, how much more censored can it be? Especially after the on-the-ground reports like Scriffin's. I think that's how you say that guy's last name. Although Scriffin reported report was before Loffredo's, it was after the Israeli government banned reporting on the missile impact locations. Therefore, the PBS journalist committed the same crime of reporting true information that embarrasses the Israeli government. But Israel has issued no charges against Scriffin. Meanwhile, Loffredo remains in Israeli custody. Now, according to what Max Blumenthal did share, his colleague is free, which is great. I'm glad he's free, but he's still not allowed to leave Israel. So, folks, this story is going to continue to update. I am ever hopeful that when we are done with this live stream show, I could say, hey, guys, he's free, and the Grayzone is going to be doing a live stream or report with him later on today or over the weekend. And for that, I encourage all of you to please follow the Grayzone on all of their social media. But the bigger story here is that there's a war on free speech. There's a war on journalists, and we are seeing it being done in real time all over social media. We're seeing it being done with corporate media, and the story of what's happening on the ground in Gaza, in Israel, as this war continues to expand, is becoming abundantly clear that free speech, our First Amendment right, is being put on the chopping block, and a U.S. journalist was detained for no reason. Where's our government at? That's what I want to know.
It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Whether or not in Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
I don't mean to sound alarmist, but most of what they let you read is garbage. Most of it's designed to warp our minds until subconsciously you find you'll take the time to lick their boots free of grime and wipe their minds free of tarnish. Oil is the centerpiece, a body count of millions is the garnish. So how's it feel to know we funded every carcass? That every year our taxes pay for carpet bombing Gaza under shroud of darkness? Or that we spend enough a year to house and feed each homeless person in the streets on turning families in apartment buildings in the Middle East to bloody craters full of charred garments? And our media is silent at best. At worst, they can find it in themselves to call war crimes clashes and label children burned to ashes terrorists who played a stupid game and reaped the harvest. And every time we try to paint the truth, the news sends their slugs to suck off all the varnish and distort it into something harmless. See, the media will hang you by your feet and keep you half asleep. So yes, I'm here to set you free, but freedom won't be sweet because you'll fall 1,000 feet when I come cut you out your harness. They say those who dream the deepest fall the farthest. They also say that home is where the heart is. But if home for you is Gaza, Netanyahu's got you painted as a target. Perhaps it's not the impact, but it's what you see when falling that will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the sound of all those children crying out in those apartments that will hit the hardest. Maybe all those little bodies scattered in the dirt will hit the hardest. Maybe seeing human lives assigned such little worth will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the knowledge that you're paying for the darkest of atrocities committed on this earth that will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the knowledge that we give 10 million a day to oppressors who possess the kind of Medicare you'll die in debt before you see that's gonna hit the hardest. Maybe then you'll see you've always had more in common with the commoners whose slaughter we fund every day in Gaza than our senators and bosses. Maybe then you'll see our country never had a conscience. Maybe then the retroactive guilt will make you nauseous. Maybe what hits harder than the impact is the act of being conscious, of knowing your complicity and helplessness to try and stop the bloody deeds of Congress. And that no matter who's in office, America preserves its foreign interests by whatever means its greed demands, however monstrous. You see, we'll always need a place to drain our contras. And Biden's got a backup plan, should harm befall the Holy Land. Wipe it off the map, he'll draw it back on with an iron hand. He demands an Israel or reasonable effigy to exercise democracy and colonize the Middle East. Regardless of the human cost of phosphorus atrocities, bought and paid with money they rerouted out the budget for the non-essential things like ever making Flint's water clean. So maybe what hits hardest is the day you see this country for its actual priorities. And nevermore no honest peace attempting sleep. Maybe then you'll look at politicians making speeches like a blood-encrusted beast espousing destiny to empty seats and fellow leeches. As the gauntlet of democracy extends its brutal reach, like a giant wave of trash come to crash on foreign beaches. Maybe build a base, throw a flag down and heavily pollute the region. Rape your ecosystems, gut your fauna and congratulate you on your new allegiance. Oops, we mean alliance. This is something mutual unless you're non-compliant. We stole something crucial on which you can be reliant. So maybe what hits hardest is the centrists saying both sides need to stop the violence. And those would be the very same centrists saying we should all accept police brutality, who hem and haw and clutch their fucking pearls and spend their time condemning riots. But very soon will come the day the centrists all get censored like the rest of us, and pious as they'll try to be, they won't stay quiet. But they'll just end up shouting in the void that they were also quick to render us subscribers. And it will be too late to light the fires. So far away tonight, there burn the spires of a region set ablaze for which you've paid for every pyre. Which is why your checks weren't all $600 higher. And call it foreign interests or American desires. This is why your checks weren't all $600 higher. Far away tonight, there burn the spires of a region set ablaze for which you've paid for every pyre. Foreign interests or American desires. This is why your checks weren't all $600.